What's up, my peeps? Time for a brand new episode of Supercard, and a while back I got a comment from somebody asking for some Battleground tips, so thought I'd make a video about it, and this is the video. Now, before I start naming the tips, it's very important to listen to the entire thing because all the tips connect together. So if you just take the first couple tips and just start playing right away, you might miss something. You might miss maybe an opportunity to get some more points, or for your team in general to get more points. Anyways, let's start this. So first things first, this might just be the most important tip right off the bat, is you need to find yourself a proper team. You might do your part, get all the charges, play all your matches, but you're only 1/10 of the team. If the rest of your team isn't doing their part, they're not getting their charges or playing their matches once the actual attack phase begins, you're gonna lose the Battleground anyways despite you putting in the work. So you need to find a proper active team first before anything else. And a lot of people will go ahead and look for teams within the game itself, in the looking for team chat or in the global chat, and that's okay sometimes. But the thing is, all you see about that team, all you know is what the game shows you, and that's not much. The game isn't going to show you their past, events, how they did they get some rewards in the past, did they finish a road to glory. But if you go ahead and look for teams on social media where everybody's sharing pictures, people will post up when they finish a road to glory, or when they finish a ring domination, or if they did something impressive or get a certain amount of points. You don't get that within the game, so my suggestion to you, and this applies to pretty much every team mode, is you need an active team first. Go ahead, if you prefer Facebook, find yourself a couple WWE Supercard community pages or group pages, join those, and look for teams there. Ask them for screenshots of them, completing a road to glory, or if you're building your own team, ask for the players that you're trying to recruit to send you proof of their past points, and if they, filled up the charges in the past in Battleground. And if you use Twitter, use the search engine. Search up WWE Supercard team, click on latest, and you'll see the latest people looking for players for their team, or players looking to join a team. So now that that's out of the way, you've got an active team, and now the next step is to go ahead and look for charges. Now, charges were pretty simple to get, pretty quick to get initially when they first brought in the mode. And you'd get them within maybe an hour or maybe 2 hours, depends on how much you played or what mode you played. But since the maintenance, the pull rate or drop rate has definitely decreased, and you're not getting them as quick as before. Now, despite the decrease, there are still modes that are better than others to get charges. For instance, Wild Mode and Team Road to Glory seem to be really affected when it comes to the decrease in charges. Wild Mode is absolutely terrible right now when it comes to pulling charges, and so is Team Road to Glory. Despite getting more picks out of a win, you're barely going to be pulling charges in that mode. What I'd recommend is Rank Mode and Royal Rumble Mode. I didn't used to play Rank, but now I do just because of the charges, because it's a better source than Wild Mode. I understand some people might say, oh, it's because you get more picks out of Rank Mode than you do Wild Mode. Yes, you do. But Team Road to Glory also gives you more picks than Wild Mode for winning a match, but it's still terrible for charges. That's not the case for Rank Mode. It's definitely better than those two. Now, this isn't a freaking study. It's not scientifically proven, but it's from personal experience and the experiences of other players that I talked to as well. Now, despite going for Rank Mode and Rumble Mode to get your charges, you're going to run out of bouts, and also it's going to take a while despite them giving you more charges in those modes than Wild and Team Road to Glory. So what you do is you use Money in the Bank. Usually Money in the Bank is safe for rewards, cards, but actually if you're trying to play a lot of Team Battleground, the best rewards to redeem are the picks. The 15 contracts for 4 picks. In your off time or between Road to Glory or Ring Domination bouts, play some Money in the Bank. Play as much as you can, save up as many contracts as you can until you've got like at least 1.5k or 2k, and then whenever a Team Battleground pops up, go ahead and redeem as many picks as you need to fill up your charges. And the best part about the Money in the Bank picks is you get to choose which mode you redeem them on. So you can choose to use them after a Wild Mode match or a Ranked match. Now, if you guys saw my 400 WrestleMania 33 picks video, I went ahead and redeemed them in Wild Mode, but that was prior to the maintenance. That was prior to the decrease in the charge pull rates. So now that I've given you guys the information that it seems like ranked mode gives you more charges, go ahead and redeem those Money in the Bank picks within ranked mode. Combine, the mass amount of picks that you get from Money in the Bank in a mode that will give you a better shot at pulling more charges. And to add to that, instead of using an ad to get 4 picks after a wild mode match, instead watch an ad to get an extra Money in the Bank bout, and win that Money in the Bank match, you'll get 40 points, which means 8 picks in the mode of your choice. So yeah, my biggest tip when it comes to getting charges is play a lot of Money in the Bank, and instead of using them on rewards, or in addition to using them on card rewards, also save up some for some picks, and go ahead and redeem those picks in ranked mode. Also, in terms of when to start a Team Battleground, start it whenever most of your team can get charges. Start it at a time where a lot of your members are actually playing. So, if an event just started and a lot of your team members play the event, go ahead and start it around that time, because they're all playing and they're getting more picks out of the rank dominations and the road to glories. Now, moving on. You've got your charges, your team's got the charges, the attack phase begins, and it's time for you to attack your opponents. So right off the bat, if the opposing team isn't charged up, and you guys all are, then you don't really need any tips. Just play a couple matches, or play all your matches preferably, and you're gonna win. It's as simple as that, because their cards are going to be far too weak to take on your cards or get points out of you guys. Now, we're going to assume that whoever you're facing off against, they're all charged up. So it's a pretty competitive match between you two. You want to get as many points as possible. You want to take advantage of all 15 attacks, and you really want to get the most points out of your opponents, out of the opposing team. So to do that, you not only have to keep in mind the points that you can get, but also the points that your teammates can get, mainly the weaker ones, the ones that are stuck with the weaker cards, that were given the weaker cards. A lot of teams, a lot of players will overlook that and not think about what the other teammates can beat, or who the other teammates can beat, and just what you can beat. So, for instance, let me give you guys a perfect example here. On the opposing team, you've got 2 players worth exactly 95 points. They're both worth the exact same points, so if you beat this guy, you get the same amount of points as the other guy. But their decks are going to be different. One of those guys might have just 1 WrestleMania 33 card, while the other one has 2. Let's say the one that's got 2 WrestleMania cards, his username is George, and the one that's only got 1 WrestleMania card, his name is Jonathan. Alright? And you're in a position where you got one of the stronger decks on the team. So you can beat both George and Jonathan. It doesn't matter to you. So you can pick either one. You'll still get the same 95 points. Well, it's not that simple. Well, it could be if you're not in a competitive match, but if you are, every point counts, and you need to make sure that your teammates can also get as many points as they can get. So what you want to do is you want to take a look at your weakest teammates' decks and check out if they can beat both George and Jonathan. If their decks are only capable of beating the guy with 1 WrestleMania card, so Jonathan, then what you want to do is you want to leave Jonathan to them. Leave some remaining attacks on Jonathan because they can actually beat him and get 95 points out of him. But if you went ahead and completed the remaining attacks on Jonathan and the weaker guys can't face off against him anymore, what are they going to do? They can't beat George because he's got 2 WrestleMania cards. Even though he's worth the same amount of points, he's a tougher opponent that they can't beat. So if you do that, your team misses out on points. And those points might make the difference. So don't just think about who you can beat, but also think about who your teammates can beat. Oftentimes, there will be opponents who are worth the exact same amount of points, but one of them can get beat by your weakest teammates, while the other, they just can't beat. That's just the way it is in Team Battleground, so keep that in mind. That's a very important tip. Now with that said, it's very important to get the most amount of points out of your opponent's team, so make sure to get all the remaining attacks on the strongest players, the ones that give out the most points, even if you've got one of the weakest deck. If there is a slight chance that you can beat the opponent, even if it's like a 5% chance, go ahead, face off against that top player. Try and win a match against them to get the most amount of points. Now, some of you might go, well, I don't want to waste my attack. I don't want to go ahead and, risk it, face off against the top player while I've got a weak deck, and then lose. You won't lose. This brings me to my last tip, And a lot of you might know this, but I know a lot of people also don't, because I've seen people be like, oh, you can do that? You can actually back out and save your attack. You don't lose the attack at all, but you need to back out at the right time. So this is why I always suggest to go for the top player, the guy that has the most points if you think there's even a slight chance you can beat him, because you can always back out. There's 3 matches within a match, right? Well, right before it gets to 2-1 in the favor of the opponent, back out. As soon as you see that the opposing card is too strong for your card, not as soon as you see him beat your card, but as soon as you see that card pop up, exit out of the app, exit out of Supercard, and then open the game back up, and you won't lose your attack. You can go ahead and try again, but you'll notice if you do disconnect, if you do, back out of the game within a Battleground match, you won't be able to attack that same opponent for a short amount of period afterwards. It's like they put a time penalty for backing out, for exiting out of a Battleground match. That's normal. It's fine. After a short while, you'll be able to face that opponent once again and try again. And if you're about to lose again, just exit out again. You don't risk anything. So if you want the most points to ensure a victory, then always go for the person that gives out the most points. You can always try and face off against him and beat him a couple times, because you can always just exit out and try again and not lose your attack. And now for the last tip. A lot of you, once the Team Battleground is over, you're really anxious to start another one, but you've got the claiming phase. You've got to wait 12 hours before searching for another Team Battleground. Well, there's a way around that, and that is by disbanding the team. If you disband your team during the claim phase, then you could go ahead, rebuild the team right back up as quick as possible, and search for another Team Battleground. That's the way around waiting for the claim phase. But if you're going to disband the team and rebuild it back up, try and make sure that you guys can actually rebuild the team before 12 hours, so it's actually worth it to do that. So you might want to have contact with your teammates outside the game, like on Twitter or Facebook, so you guys can quickly disband and rebuild within a matter of minutes or maybe an hour or so, and search for another Team Battleground so you can go ahead and restart the whole process quicker. Just keep in mind that if you disband your team, your points, the points that you previously got through Team Battleground, will be erased. So if you care about your leaderboard rankings for Team Battleground, then don't go ahead and do that. Now, enough about the tips. Let's actually see what I get from the most recent Battleground that we did. I completely missed the claim phase, forgot about it, but let's check out the mailbox and redeem them this way. Claim rewards out of the... Oh, Braun Strowman, that's a pro! Alright, great, that's my first pro out of a Team Battleground. It's been... how many Battlegrounds now? I think this is the 4th one. So we finally got a pro. That's cool. What's the ultimate card? We've got 2. Enzo, not sure if he's a pro or not. And Roman Reigns. I think Roman is a pro. But I'm happy about Braun, man. That's a pro, so that's going to help out my Road to Glory deck. So the best part about this pack was the Braun Proman, but chances are I'm not going to pro him until, I don't know, Ring Domination comes around or something like that. Because I've got to train the first one and this one as well. Chances are I won't get that done within this Road to Glory. But I'm happy with the results. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, click that like button, and I'm out. See ya. Oh, and one last thing. On the last stream that I did, JP on stream gave me a great idea saying I should pick whoever gets to join Team Deagle to get a free WrestleMania 33 card on stream. And I think that's a great idea, so that's what I'm going to do for this Team Ring Domination that's coming up on Monday. So I will have a live stream this weekend, and if you want to get in the team, then make sure you tune in to that live stream. And with that said, now I'm really out, because the outro is going to hit right now.